Hello.
Mate, all right?
I'm good, mate. How's you?
I'm all good, mate. All good.
Good, mate. First of all, welcome to NetFix. Thank you for coming along. I'm sure you're being a very busy man as you're relatively a new father. So how's that going?
It's been good, mate. So obviously tough at times, but enjoying it. So
Good,
it's
mate.
been good.
Good. So what I'm planning to do with this channel is really interview footballers like yourself that have made it in the game, and really get your advice to what they'd give young people like myself to get to your level in the game. Does that sound alright?
No worries, mate. That's fine.
Right, let's get into it. Let's start your youth career. She signed for Queen's Park at the age of 14. How did that really come about for yourself?
I'd left Hearts when I was like 12, 11 turning 12, and I kind of spent a year at Rangers training there with their youth academy, but in the time kind of had a connection with Queen's Park, so I was training with Rangers and then I was playing for Queen's Park at the weekend, so I was getting games and training, and then I just signed for them after that. I really enjoyed it there, and that's where I wanted to be.
What position were you when you started with? Were you always a striker?
I always felt when I was younger my strongest person was striker, but when I was younger I played everywhere for Queen's Park. They kind of moved us about, and I literally did play every position apart from goals, I think. So that was a great experience as well to play the game in all different ways and learn it different ways.
Yeah. So you made your debut 3 years later for them. How did that feel?
It was great. Obviously, when you look back now, you don't realise how young you actually were at the time. But I was a kid, and I never realised that at the time. But you kind of, when you get flung into reserve football and then first team football, you tend to grow up pretty fast. So when I look back now, it's obviously great to make your debut at such a young age, and that is something I can kind of always cherish.
Yeah. So what was it like playing at Hampton, especially at that age?
That was brilliant. Obviously playing at National Stadium, you know, when you're at Queen's Park that's where the first team playing, and that's where you're aiming to get. Obviously you're at Lesser, which is obviously a great facility in itself, but when you see the first team get out and you go out to watch the games after your youth games, it's brilliant. You can play at the National Stadium, so it was always something that you knew you had ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. You scored 11 goals in your first season, but can you really remember your first goal for them?
I can, aye. I'm going to correct you, it was 15. I think it was 11 in the league, to be fair, but I did actually get 15 in all comps. But I can, it was Airdrie, and it would have been the League Cup, but I think it was called the CIS Cup at that point. And that's where I scored my first goal at Partick Thistle. We played them. A corner got flicked on, and I was just at the back to volley it right in the top corner. So it was a great start.
Good. Some good players in that team, obviously. Andy Robertson. How was Robbo, obviously, at that age, and obviously starting there, and how his game?
I don't think you could ever imagine what he's went on to achieve in his career. It's untouchable, really, what he's done. But at that point, it was just the same as me. He was obviously just a year. He was only a year older, and he was 17 or 18, and I was 17, whatever. And obviously never knew what he was potentially going on today, but you always knew there was a good player in there, and he was good enough to go into a Queen's Park team at that age and play every single game, and I think he played every minute that season. So obviously the potential was there. He was a great player, but to imagine what he's went on and done is unthinkable, and it's great to say that you've played with a guy like that.
Yeah. So how did you balance school for yourself and obviously football?
Sorry, did you say school there?
Yeah. How did you balance school and football for yourself at a young age?
When I was young, you mean, and like when I came?
Yeah.
It's. I'm not going to sit here and say I was the best at school. To be honest, it wasn't my strong point. School wasn't a place I loved to go and learn. I enjoyed PE, and that was about as much as it go with me. To be a bit because you got to make cakes, but that was about as good as school go. I done all right. I never done brilliant, and to be honest, it's probably something you don't realise till you're a bit older that you do end up regretting it a bit, and you should have maybe studied a bit more. And it is probably something I could have done more, but there is loads of boys out there in football that have had real good educations and they'll get real good marks as well. So obviously it's doable, but I was probably too focused on football, to be honest.
So after doing really well for Queens, you got a move to Aberdeen. How did that really come about for yourself?
I did a good season. I done well. Obviously, I was a young boy at the time, and I think Motherwell came in to sign me in the January window. First of all, and I just felt like I was playing first team football, and I was really enjoying it. So I stayed in the season, and then Aberdeen must have got drifted at, and they were interested, and I was spoke to Derek McInnes and that up there, and that was where I decided I wanted to go.
Yeah. So obviously, being at one of the biggest clubs in Scotland, what were you thinking at that time?
I was only a young boy as well. I mean, I was needing to move away. It was a big jump. Dundee United were actually interested at the time as well. They obviously took Candy. And then I just decided I'd go another road up the road, further away from Glasgow. So it was tough at the time, moving away and stuff. I knew I was going to a big football club, and it was just an experience I was quite happy to go and explore.
Yeah. How big was the step from Queens to Aberdeen?
It was big. Obviously, straight into full-time football, first of all. That's your first hurdle to get there. You need to get used to training every day, and the boys were there, and maybe there for a year or 2 years ahead, so they're used to it by then. But getting used to that to start with was tough. It was the only person behind me, I think, was Michael Rose at the time, and he'd been out for about 9 months injured, so he was the guy behind me. So I had a lot to make up today. But it was a good experience to go up there. Obviously involved in the youth first, and then eventually managed to work my way into the first team. Yeah.
Who really stood out for you in Aberdeen squad?
It's hard to pinpoint anybody, because when I first went up, obviously the squad developed massively when I was there. And first of all, you go in, and Niall was international now again. He was obviously on internationals, and then you had Jacko playing Scotland 21s at the time. He's only a young lad, and now when you see, you obviously knew they were good players at the time, but when you see go on and see what they've done in their careers, obviously Kenny McLean came into that as well when I was there. There was loads of good players, even big Andy Constantine, just been there for years, but just really, really good players, and they've shown that over the years.
Yeah. How did you handle that kind of step up to Aberdeen? How did you handle that at such a young age?
It's hard, obviously. Coaches and that help you on your way. They kind of feel when it's time to maybe push you a bit more, or kind of hold the reins and let you develop at the level you're playing at, whatever. So it was tough being in such a good squad, because the game time's obviously limited, and it's hard to get when you're so young as well. So when the club advise you to go out and try and play in your loans, and you try and do well there, and then you go back, now when I look back, it's much easier being settled at a football club, know what I mean, than it is kind of about loan deals and that. But it was all part of the experience, and I've learned a lot more probably figuring out, and even having bad experiences on loans to I would have probably just sitting there playing youth football.
Yeah. What obviously you mentioned being quite far away from home yourself, but like how was that at such a young age, being so far away from home?
I actually enjoyed it. I always wanted to move it when I was young. So eventually the situation came about, but it was quite far away. But to be honest, I got friendly with quite a lot of the boys really quick, and I was only in digs for a while, and then I managed to get my own place with the help of my man Da, thankfully. But I went once I had my own place. The boys kind of wanted to always be at mine, because it was a free house, so it was good.
So whilst you were at Aberdeen, you got a good few loan spells at Dunfermline, St Mirren, Greenock, Morton. So how was those? Did they really develop your game?
Dunfermline was great. I went there when I was 18.
Yeah.
That was obviously a league above where I'd played for Queen's Park the year before, so that was a good experience for me to go and work with Jim Jeffries at the time. He's obviously an experienced manager as well, so it was an old head to go and work with. I scored like 7 in 14 games or something, so my record there was good. Injury brought it to an end, unfortunately, but that was one. Then I went to St Mirren the following, or 2 years later. That was, I'd spent a year in the first team on the bench and that. Really played too much. Then I went to St Mirren, done well the second half of the first season. I done well, managed to finish with 10 goals that season, I think.
Right.
Then the next season I spent the first half at St Mirren. Wasn't great at all. I only started 2 games or something. Didn't do really well, to be honest. And then I went to Morton and I actually played quite a lot of the games, but when I look back now, I was probably harsh on myself at the time, but I think it was just my confidence was low for being at St Mirren and not really working out. And I was really hard on myself when I went to Morton, and I probably did better than I thought I did. In terms of the manager was always playing me, so I must have been doing something right.
What was Derek McInnes and Tony Dock like for you?
They were great. Made it really comfortable for me to move up. Obviously, as you say, a young boy, but they let me develop in the youth team for a few months and get myself up to speed, and then they drafted me in and out the first team when they felt they needed, and then eventually, obviously, move into the first team to train with them and be in the changing room and that. So they were brilliant for me, and not just for me, but I think for Aberdeen. Obviously, recently you see them moving on, but the job they've done up there is really good. To take Aberdeen from where they were in the table, they were near the bottom most of the time. They were there to into Europe consistently, semi-finals, finals, and they did a real good job there. So I'll always say that about them. I've not got really a bad word to say about them.
Good. So after 4 years at Aberdeen, you moved on and signed for Ayr. Do you think that was the right time to move on from Aberdeen?
I don't have a choice. They decided my time was up anyway, so moving a contract, I kind of had to move on. But probably it just kind of ran its course. Didn't look like I was going to be able to get in the first team, and after the 2 loans I'd had at St Mirren and Morton, I didn't have a great season, so I wasn't in a good position. So thankfully enough, Ayr needed a striker eventually, and I managed to just go in there. It was a wee bit last chance saloon. Late in the day, I signed in September, I think. So it was really late. But I knew it was just an opportunity I wasn't going to pass up on, and I was going to really make the most of it.
Yeah. How did you feel at that time, obviously, signing for Ayr? Did you feel determined to really prove what you had?
In all honesty, I was just delighted to get a chance to sign for Sunday and play football for time still, because I didn't know what I was looking at. I was at a team that long. I was just like, I might need to go and work back in the factory. I'd spent time in the factory when I was at Queen's Park, so I was thinking I might need to go back there and start working and play full time and start over again. So to get that opportunity to still remain playing full time football was just amazing for me at that time. And as I said, it was an opportunity I wasn't going to let pass.
Yeah, so Ayr, they really did look like a good team, and you really did fit in well for them. How was Ian McCall like as a manager?
He was brilliant. Because the year before that, when I went to Morton, I was actually on my way to sign for Ayr, and I got a phone call to Morton, and they were 4th on the table, and Ayr were like second bottom, and I ended up going to Morton. So he could have quite easily said, "Nah, no chance." But fair enough, he seen a bit of talent in me somewhere and thought he would give me a chance, and I think it paid off for both.
So for Ayr, you scored 50 goals in 61 appearances. That's not bad at all.
Aye. Was that my record? That's decent.
Not bad.
It's good. There were good times. There were good times at Ayr. We had a great changing room. Obviously, being the team that we won the league in League One, and then we got promoted, it was a good place to be because all the boys were kind of in the same position. They were all wanting to go to Ayr, improve, and move on essentially, and that's what quite a lot of them done. So it was a good changing room. Everybody driving for the same stuff, not just for individuals, but as a team, we all just wanted to be successful, and we just had a real good team spirit as well. So it was a real place to be.
Yeah, so obviously after that record, the goals for you, you obviously got a move to Dundee United. What made you choose them at the
time? Probably just speaking to the manager. It was frowned upon a wee bit. Obviously, because I stayed in the Championship, people were like, "Why do you not go to I don't know, a Hamilton or a St John's, the top 5?" But I just felt United were a bigger club, in all honesty. No disrespect to any teams, but I just felt coming to United was a massive opportunity for me, and if I could play a part in a team to get promoted, it would be really good for me and good for me personally, and obviously good for the club. So it was a kind of a position that the club and I was in the same headspace. We wanted to go up a level, and so was the club essentially. So I just felt it was a good fit for me at that time.
So obviously once you're at United, scoring goals were fun obviously, and you got that call for the Scotland call up in October 2019. Can you remember much about that day getting the call?
I think the manager just put me in and he let me know that I was going to be named in the squad, and probably a wee bit. I was doing well, obviously, in the league, but going to Dundee United was obviously part of my plans to try and get involved in the international setup eventually as well. But it probably came quicker than I was expecting. Once I played in the championship, it's quite unheard of. So I was just delighted to be involved, and I was just looking forward to going and meeting up and being involved in it.
What was the first thing you done after the manager brought you in and said you get selected?
I think I went to the gym. I think it was just after training, and then we had a gym session. So I think I just wandered there. But I was probably in a wee bit of disbelief at the time. It was a bit of a shock to me. So
you made your Scotland debut, tough match against Russia, but 3 days later you obviously made your debut for them, starting against San Marino, and obviously got your first goal for them. So how did that feel?
It was brilliant. To even get the opportunity to play for your country, like you go away with a squad, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're just there to experience it. But I got flung in pretty quick in Russia, on at half time. So that was obviously a great experience to make your debut, and then to get the start, and then the following Wednesday was brilliant. So obviously the game we were going to be on top of mostly, and fair enough, we came out with a good result, and to get the goal was obviously brilliant.
Yeah. So since then, obviously, you got the call for the squad that got to the Euros. How was that night and then full?
It was mad. Obviously, being in me and Greg Taylor were the extra boys, so we won the stripped on the night, unfortunately, and that was a wee bit of disappointment when you need to deal with. But thankfully enough, we found it quite early doors, so you had time to kind of digest it and get over it, and you realise that you just had to support the boys, and how big an opportunity it was for the country. And I mean, if I was in the house, I'd have still been supporting it as I will be then. So it was good to just be there, and then obviously when it went to kicks, we managed to get pitch side as well because the stadium was empty. You just go wherever you wanted. So it was great, and obviously the celebrations and that after it. So it was just a great thing to be a part of.
How was the celebrations at the end of that night? Was it mental?
It was good, those videos and that kicking about fair. They probably looked madder than what it actually was, but no, it was just good times. Good group of guys there, and they'd achieved something amazing. So that obviously we celebrated, and as I said, it was just great to be a part of it.
What was the standard that Scotland squad like?
Very good. Very good players, and they show that at clubs, playing at high levels and stuff, and can be daunting at times. People would say it when you go in, and you obviously know your standards need to be really high, and when I say tough, but you know that you need to be at the top of your game every day, and the standards the guys expect of you. So I really enjoy that side of it when you get the chance to meet up, and probably it's something you can enjoy.
Yeah. Well, back to United now. Your time there, and you obviously got them promoted, helped them a lot to get the goals and to get them promoted. How did that feel, especially?
As I said, when I signed, it was part of the plan. I knew that getting promotion was key for the club, for myself as well. I wanted to be a part of the team, a winning team. So to date in the first season, obviously the circumstances they ended up being was unfortunate, but I think we more or less had it wrapped up, to be honest, and a couple of results. So it was great. I had a good season again, and everything kind of went well until this pandemic came into play.
So how do you feel the team has done this season, especially first season back?
It's always tough when you get promoted. I mean, people don't know what to expect you. But I feel that the club's obviously had spent 4 years in the Championship, and their main ambition was to get back to the Premier League, and then become a Premier League team again. You don't want to be one of the team that just bounces up and down, because you find yourself a cycle you don't want to be in. So we're sitting 8th for now. Obviously we're in the bottom 6 for the split, but I think if we could go on, we're unfortunate to miss it on 6, a point or so. But I think if we could go and achieve a strong 7th and we finish the season well, then we can be happy with our work, and it's something we can build on.
Yeah, I think obviously that showed as well with results recently against Aberdeen, the win there, and obviously the draw at Celtic. Those are two massive results, and he's showing he definitely can challenge ourselves against the obviously bigger clubs in the league.
We have hit a bit of form recently, to be honest. Our results have been really good, and barring Ibrox away, but our last 5 have been good results. So we've finished up until the split pretty strong, and as I said, we just missed it. But it's not just early games; that's early full season. I mean, we need to pick up points. But as I said, if we can go and finish the season strong and finish with 5 wins, hopefully, and we can have a strong 7th, then we can all be happy.
Yeah. Do you have any aims for yourself for the last 5 games?
Just get as many goals as I can. I think that's always the case really as a striker, but as I said, we want to win the games. If we win the games, I'll be happy. I'm not bothered who scores, but I will want to. In fact, I do bother who scores. I've actually scored, but as long as we're winning the games, I can be happy.
Yeah. I think you got an assist last weekend, was it, against Aberdeen, I'm sure?
Aye.
Yeah.
Cool. It was a good team goal. Bijan did brilliant for it, and then it was a nice move. So
it was a good move, yeah.
1-1 as well. It was good.
Yeah. So as someone to obviously recognise yourself as a great player, a good goal scorer, and obviously an international player, what advice would you give for young people trying to make it into the game like yourself?
It's pretty cliche, but it does come down to hard work. Your attitude.
Yep.
Just obviously applying yourself as best as you can. It's tough being a teenager and you see all your pals go to do different things and you kind of think, I'd like to go and do that. But you need to stay focused, and there is a great career out there for you to have. Albeit you might not be a millionaire at the end of it, but if you can go and play football for 10, 15 years of your life, then you'll be in a good place at the end of it, and then you can go and work. Know what I mean? So there's a good career there for you, and that's what I would just strive towards. Doing this for a living for as long as you can.
Well, that's us with about your career, Lawrence, but I'm going to end with wee questions at the end of it. Cow Hutton gets 7, so he's a decent enough start, but I'm going to ask you 10 questions. You get 10 seconds to answer each. So good luck to you, and hopefully you get better than Cow Hutton. But here we go. Number 1. True or false? Dundee United have a 100% record against Barcelona in European ties.
True.
Correct. That's 1. Number 2. Which Scottish Premiership team is nicknamed the Buddies?
St Mirren.
Correct. Who is number 6 for Dundee United?
Mark Reynolds.
Correct again. How many goals did he score at Ayr United? I mentioned it earlier.
50, you said 50.
Aye. Correct. Ayr United recently qualified for the 3rd round of the Scottish Cup, but who did they play?
Who do they play next?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, answer is Clyde, but that's your first one wrong today. In the league this season, how many goals do you and Nicky Clark have combined?
In the league?
Yeah.
15?
Yeah, correct. Surprised you got that one. Number 7. When were Dundee United formed?
Oh no. I have no idea. I should know that.
1908.
I was trying to look at it to see if I did my bad.
see a top around there. Number 8. In the league this season, how many games have Dundee United drawn?
13?
Just off 12 there.
What was it?
Just off. Number 9.
All day. I was looking at
Number 9 now, for another question. How many teams have took points off Rangers in the league this season?
2.
5.
5?
Aye. And number 10. In the split fixtures, who is Dundee United's first game at home against?
Game at home. Motherwell? No.
Correct, Ross County.
Ross County.
Well, you get 5. You're second on the leaderboard now. Go straight up to second, but unfortunately didn't beat Kyle Hutton. Again, thank you for your...
That's embarrassing. I've played with Huts.
Some shocking answers there. Well, thank you, Lawrence, for your time today. Again, thanks for giving up your time, especially with the baby, obviously. But thanks again, and hopefully catch up with you next season.
Well, good. No worries. Cheers for having me on.
No bother. Right, see you later.
No bother, mate. Cheers.